What actually goes on in girls' sleepovers? Story 1. When I was a kid, we would play this game where you would hide in your sleeping bag, and whoever was it would have to sit on you. You would make this oinking noise, like a pig, and they would guess who you were. The game is called Piggly Wiggly. Story 2. I'm a dad of a daughter, and this is what goes on at a girl's sleepover, at least from my perspective. We first go to the store. The girls load up on all kinds of snacks and ice cream. And then, when we get home, I order a couple of pizzas. I then grab about 3 slices of pizza and a pitcher of water and go into my room. I lock the door and I put on a movie. No matter what I hear, no matter how much screaming there is, I do not open my door. I exit the room in the morning, I step over the sleeping bodies, and I assess the damages. I then cook a bunch of cinnamon rolls. Story 3. In my era, with my friends, Omegle and chat roulette, horror movies or comedy movies, most often either horror or comedies, a lot of pizza, crafts, manhunt, and what we call sleeping bag tag. Sleeping bag tag is a game where one person is standing with a sleeping bag over their entire head and most of their body. If they are it, they are trying to tag everyone else who is running away. You can imagine the many injuries that this game has caused. Story 4. I was invited to a sleepover, but only because they wanted my older sister there. They made it clear that I was not going to be included in any activities. I made friends with the younger brother of the host. He was also shunned from the group. He showed me these fake insects that he made. You basically pour melted plastic into molds. And I came up with an idea when all the girls went into the kitchen to make popcorn. We snuck into their room, insects in hand, and we put insects in their sleeping bags. My sister got the biggest and ugliest spider. Then we hid in the hallway and we waited for them to come back. They went into the room, all the girls laid down, and then we heard the screams. We laughed and we laughed. That made my night. Story 5. We once adopted one of my younger sister's friends. My sister, 6 years younger, was having a sleepover with one of her sports teams her freshman year. I was playing poker and smoking with my buddies in the garage. One of my buddies leaves to take a piss outside and immediately comes back in. He said, "Dude, there's a girl crying out there." As it turns out, during the sleepover, there was a 2 girls liking 1 boy type situation, and there had been an emotional confrontation in which crying girl had left, saying she was going to go get picked up. But she hadn't found anyone to pick her up. So she had just been hanging out on the side of the house crying. Well, seeing her there, I kind of felt bad for her, so we adopted her into our group. She joined the poker game. We all threw $5 into the pot and we got her in. We had to teach her the game though, so whoever folded first was her helper for that hand. There was mild bitching from the 3 of us that smoked that we could no longer smoke around the table, and after the girls' sleepover ended around 2 a.m., lightweights, I talked to my sister and smuggled the last one into the bedroom for the night. Story 6. Naked pillow fight, followed by comparing breasts, and then sitting in a circle masturbating together. I thought everyone knew this. Story 7. Not exactly sleepovers, but living with strangers on a summer camp is great, especially when it's time to go to sleep, but nobody is really tired. So we all sit in the beds and chat in the middle of the darkness, making up ridiculous theories about how the universe works and why the hell everyone even exists. Everyone in the room coming out as lesbian/bi at the time. Shit-talking parents, exes, friends, talking about ridiculous dreams that we've had. Story 8. We compared menstrual cycles, discussed nail polish remover and which one is the best for cuticle health, whether we should dye our hair or get bangs, tampons versus menstrual cups, and okay ladies, now that the men have stopped reading, make sure no one snitches about the human sacrifices, and then we eat ice cream and watch rom-coms. Story 9. In all my experiences, they were very, very boring, and everyone just slept horribly and was very tired and bitchy the next day. So I stopped sleepovers. Well, in my teens at least. Everyone would always hype up a sleepover and say, we're gonna go do X, Y, and Z, but X, Y, and Z never really happened. Story 10. My best friend and I would watch bad movies and laugh, prank call boys at our school, get a lot of snacks and eat them all. At one point, we would cut a lemon and see how many we could eat before giving up. Lots of makeovers using different makeup looks that we would watch on YouTube. We would also talk about a lot of random things from serious to hilarious. Story 11. During my time, we watched movies, made scrapbooks, called other girls and called boys, danced, sang to the radio. We went over magazines and listened to music. Every once in a while, Spin the Bottle was broken out, mostly truths and very little dares. And I'm not gonna lie, there was some kissing. Story 12. I have teenage daughters, and this is the script every time. They sit on their phones, laugh, and talk until about 11 p.m. Then they make their way to the kitchen for a failed attempt at a chocolate chip cookie. Made from scratch, of course. It's always dry and no flavor, every time. Either that or a giant pot of mac and cheese. They sit at the dining table and they eat it, then they head back to the bedroom. They each slowly go to sleep until they're all out by like 1 a.m. I outlast them all every time. Story 13. Well, one time, me and like 5 other girls were wondering how queefs can happen. So all 5 of us, at a sleepover, got on our backs, making a roly-jumpy motion and opening our legs to see if we can trap air in, and make it happen. Also, once there was a kissing practice, but most of the time it's just watching movies, doing hair, etc. Talking about sex, but sometimes it's sexy, and sometimes it's hilarious. I think it also depends on what group of girls and what age. Story 14. Male here. When I was younger, I was having a sleepover at a friend's house. We snuck out late at night to go skinny dipping. When we got to the pool, we find my sister's friends and my sister already there skinny dipping. That's when we learned what goes on at girls' sleepovers. Kind of the same thing as what boys do. Story 15. We play a lot of board games. That's kind of a hobby that we have. We talk a lot, about anything really. We don't really talk about crushes or boyfriends or exes, because none of us have one. Most of them are religious and probably waiting for the man that they can marry and get kids with. We also eat a lot of snacks, maybe watch a movie, but nothing really special, honestly. Story 16. Food, gossip, boys and girls talking about who we like, games, TV. If you're grown, then probably alcohol, stalking an enemy / ex, catfishing. I know that's kind of messed up, but you know. TikTok, music, selfies, going out late at night. We get bored of being in the house sometimes and we need some fresh air. Truth or dare, the risky version, of course. Pranks, childish, I know. We talk shit, I know it is mean, but you know, that happens. Therapy sessions, talking about the past, worrying about the future, complaining about the present, having breakdowns, trying to sneak in a boy or a girl, if you're single, of course. Do our makeup and hair for no reason. Try on each other's clothes if we could even fit in them. Watch 2 closet lesbians / bisexuals sit close to one another and kinda low-key flirt. And then we pretend like we don't even see it. Then they pretend that they have to sleep next to one another. I don't know about pillow fights. I've never had a pillow fight with girls before. Mainly because I was aggressive as it was. Fantasizing about our love life, and how it would be like with whoever we knew we couldn't have. Story 17. As a 90s kid, music videos and junk food, Mario Kart and going outside and running around, laughing at 80s movies, watching terrible 90s movies, watching childhood cartoons and listening to music, talking about cats, dogs, babysitting, boys, future, where we want to go and what we want to be, pretending we knew things about a cult or some kind of witchcraft, maybe pretending that we knew things about fashion and makeup, hilarious film photos that we will see years later. For the most part, it was mainly fooling around. Well, then we would watch a movie, eat some snacks, play some video games, try to sneak out, jump on the trampoline, or run down the street on a dare. A lot of giggling and whispering, and then sleeping on a fold-out couch or on the floor somewhere. I'd say it's fairly similar to my child's sleepover, and he's a boy. Now, as teens, probably similar, but with alcohol, raving, a bonfire, and smoking some weed. Make out with someone, and add to the mix that we would sleep until late afternoon. We did not hang out in our underwear or have pillow fights or diddle each other, but I will say some great memories were made. Story 18. Watched music videos, played Truth or Dare, board games, and ate junk food. Gossiped a lot, put music on and sang along while dancing. Squished 3 or 4 girls into one bed together to sleep. We went on long walks just to buy one candy bar at the nearest store. Prank calls, deep conversations about our lives and feelings. Baking projects where we absolutely destroyed the kitchen. We dressed up like weirdos with stuff from the Halloween costume stash, and we took dumb pictures. And one time we tried to summon Lucifer in the forest. Edit. Because I forgot intentionally terrible makeovers. Video games, like Spyro. Trying on each other's clothes and dyeing each other's hair for fun. Story 19. Sleepovers were innocent. They were fun and girly, as many of these comments described underneath this thread. However, when I turned about 15 or 16, I figured out that my window that didn't lock did not also have an alarm on it. And it was conveniently right above the trash cans. Then we started sneaking out, getting picked up by guys from my high school to go sneak into college parties, or we would just go and get drunk at someone else's house. We would smoke at the park, and etc. However, by 17, I got my shit together, and we put an end to those activities. This is not a flex, by the way. Super dangerous and something that I regret. Story 20. You have been listening to iReddit on YouTube. This channel is brand new, and please consider hitting that subscribe button. More Reddit posts coming soon. And also follow us on TikTok under iRedditReader.